The 2nd of August, 1867, Bighorn Mountains, Wyoming. Private Sam Gibson, 18, freezes as 600 Lakota warriors thunder toward his 26-man outpost, outnumbering them 20-1. Some soldiers tie shoelaces into loops, ready to shoot themselves to avoid the fate of Captain Fetterman's 81 men, butchered 3 miles away 8 months ago. Captain James Powell, aching from 2 Confederate bullets in his chest, grips his breech-loading Springfield, their only edge. Odds of survival? Just 4%, yet battles like Agincourt show tactics can beat numbers. How did Powell's men defy the odds? What toll did this frontier clash leave behind? That's the nightmare Powell's men faced. And we're diving into the chaos of the 2nd of August, 1867. It's a scorching morning near Fort Kearny, nestled at the foot of Wyoming's Bighorn Mountains, where the Bozeman Trail cuts through Lakota and Cheyenne hunting grounds. This outpost is a spark in Red Cloud's war, a brutal fight for the Powder River country. 26 soldiers from Company C, 27th Infantry, plus 4 civilian teamsters hunker in a makeshift corral, facing 600 to 1,000 Lakota and Cheyenne warriors, led by chiefs like High Backbone and Crazy Horse, fresh from their Sunday dance ritual. 8 months ago, 3 miles away, Lakota ambushed Fetterman's 81 men, leaving scalped bodies as a warning. Powell's crew buried those remains, so some kick off boots, looping shoelaces to fire rifles with their toes if the corral falls. Not cowardice, just grim reality. The corral's 14 wagon boxes, 4 by 8-foot pine crates, form a 70 by 30-yard oval, penning 60 mules. Spaced 2 to 3 feet apart, they're low enough to shoot over, tough enough to stop arrows. Unlike Fetterman's open field route, this setup gives Powell's men cover to aim their breech-loading Springfields, firing 5 times faster than old muskets. It's a thin lifeline, but every edge matters. So, how does Powell brace for the onslaught? With Lakota tightening the noose, one man holds the line, Captain James W. Powell. Let's zoom in on why he's built for this fight. At 36, born in 1831, he's a battle-worn leader of Company C, 27th Infantry, but history barely whispers his name. Colonel Henry B.C. Arrington called him illiterate, coarse, full of curses. Don't be fooled, Powell's cool under fire, rallying men when death looms. He carries a brutal burden. 2 Confederate bullets lodged in his chest from the 1864 Battle of Jonesboro, a constant ache he ignores today. Leading with that pain takes resolve. Powell enlisted at 16, fighting in the Mexican-American War. 1,846. 1,848. At Veracruz and Cerro Gordo. In the 1850s, he patrolled the frontier as a cavalry first sergeant, earning his stripes. By 1861, a second lieutenant in the 18th U.S. Infantry, he braved Shiloh, 23,000 fell, Perryville and Murfreesboro, forging a leader who thrives in chaos. In 1866, now a captain at Fort Kearny, he proved it. On the 19th of December, days before Fetterman's fall, Powell saved a wood train from Lakota attack, marching 5 miles without a loss. That's the man facing 600 warriors with 30. What's his plan to outsmart Red Cloud's playbook? Powell's no stranger to tough odds, but why's he in this mess? Fort Kearny, built July 1866, sits on the 700-mile Bozeman Trail, linking Montana's gold fields to the Oregon Trail. It's a bold jab at Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho lands, and Red Cloud, a cunning Lakota chief, fights back. From 1866 to 1868, his war turns the Powder River into a killing ground. The fort's exposed, 5 miles west. The pinery along Little Piney Creek supplies wood for stockades and fuel. But wood trains and supply convoys from Fort Laramie, 236 miles south, are Lakota bait. In 1866, Red Cloud's raiders hit over 50 times, killing 154 per Army logs. It's guerrilla war, and the Army's scrambling. The Fetterman Fight. The 21st of December. 1866. Scars deep. Captain William J. Fetterman, brash, chased Lakota decoys 3 miles from the fort. Red Cloud's 1,000 warriors killed all 81 men in 40 minutes. The worst U.S. loss until Little Bighorn, 1,876. Powell's men buried the hacked remains, making every raid feel deadly. Red Cloud exploits the fort's isolation telegraph. Mail delayed weeks. The Bozeman Trail's a death trap, so what hits when winter stalls the war? You'd think Lakota raids were Fort Kearny's worst enemy, but winter 1866 brings a stealthier foe, cold and scurvy. From November to March, temperatures hit -30 Fahrenheit. Snow choking the Bozeman Trail, per Army logs. Fort Laramie, 236 miles away, is unreachable. No convoys mean no fresh food, just salted pork, hardtack and coffee. By December, Dr. Samuel M. Horton logs 28 sick men. By April 1867, it's 91 of 450, 1 in 5, mostly from scurvy, vitamin C deficiency. Soldiers' diets lack it. Unlike sailors with lime juice, the Army's vinegar is useless, often missing. Horton notes bleeding gums, loose teeth, swollen joints. One man lost half his teeth, another couldn't walk. A teamster in 1870 still limped from it. Gardens were planned, but dodging Lakota arrows trumped carrots. Spring 1867 brings relief. Horton sends men to eat wild onions, learned from tribes, cutting scurvy by half, per records. Chronic pain lingers, though, weakening the fort. With Red Cloud's men poised for spring, how does Powell's unit gear up? Spring 1867 swaps snow for blood as Red Cloud's raids intensify. Powell's company is in the thick of it. The Army Act of July 1866 renames their unit Company C, 27th Infantry, stretching 400 men across a battered Fort Kearny. They guard mail and escort wagons through Lakota ambushes. On the 7th of April, near Powder River, 40 miles northeast, Lakota kills 6 soldiers and a driver in a mail convoy, scattering letters, per Army reports. In June, raiders steal 50 mules from a supply train 2 miles out, gutting the fort's logistics. Red Cloud's lightning strikes aim to starve the outpost. June brings allies. 125 lodges, about 800 Crow and Nez Perce, camp near the fort, hating Lakota and Cheyenne. The 1851 Fort Laramie Treaty gave Crow the Powder River, but Lakota claim it, fueling feuds. On the 25th of June, Lakota steal 200 Crow ponies. Crow, with U.S. cavalry, recover most, claiming 3 Lakota dead, unconfirmed. It's a win, but trouble brews. How does Powell brace for summer's storm? As Lakota raids surge, the Fetterman Fight's fallout hits Fort Kearny from Washington. Congress, stung by 81 deaths, launches a July 1867 commission to probe the fort's failures, eyeing the $20 million Bozeman Trail's fate. On the 24th of July, Powell testifies, pinning blame on Colonel Henry B. Carrington's cautious tactics, like stockade-bound orders that hobbled Fetterman. Other voices, including Lieutenant Grumman's widow, call Carrington timid per the 1867 report, pushing frontier reform. Carrington, sacked in January, fires back in a 1867 pamphlet, The Indian Question, branding Powell disloyal. He claims Fetterman ignored orders, citing 51 Lakota attacks in 1866 to show no one could stop Red Cloud. The spat, splashed in the New York Times, splits the Army, desk officers versus field vets. With Powell's name muddied, How does this set up the Wagon Box Fight? By late July 1867, Powell's 51-man company heads to the Pinery, 5 miles west, guarding woodcutters along Little Piney Creeker Lakota raid magnet. 12 soldiers watch the side camp, a mile out, as civilians chop pine. 13 escort 6-mule wagons to Fort Phil Kearny, a 10-mile gauntlet. 26 soldiers, 4 teamsters, and Lieutenant John C. Jennis, 24, a Civil War artillery vet, stay at the corral. 14 pine wagon boxes, 4 by 8 feet, in a 70 by 30-yard oval penning 60 mules. Private Sam Gibson, 18, mans a picket post 300 yards south, scanning for trouble. Weeks earlier, Company C traded muzzle loaders, 3 rounds a minute, for Springfield Model 1,866 rifles, firing 15 to 20 rounds a minute, 18 hits in 60 seconds. Per 1867 tests. Lakota bows and old muskets can't compete. How does Powell ready his men when Gibson spots danger on the 2nd of August? The 2nd of August, 1867. Dawn's quiet until Gibson spots 600 to 1,000 Lakota and Cheyenne warriors charging the Pinery post-Sunday dance, led by High Backbone and Crazy Horse. They plan a Fetterman repeat. Bait soldiers to fire, then rush during reloads. Gibson fires a warning, sprinting back with pickets. Side camp falls 3 soldiers dead, 9 flee per reports. Lakota steals 60 mules, encircling the corral. Powell, bathing in the creek, rallies his 30 men, distributing 2,000.50 -70 cartridges, 100 rounds each. R.J. Smith, veteran teamster, grabs 2 7-round Spencer carbines and Colt revolvers, taking the north. Sergeant Max Littman, German-born, fortifies a salt barrel with ox yokes. Privates McQuarrie, Grady, and Gibson hold the south, Powell and Sergeant Hoover the west. Jennis picks an exposed wagon spot, ignoring Smith's warning. How do they make this corral a fortress? Lakota warriors charge from the southwest, expecting a reload pause. Springfields, firing 15 to 20 rounds a minute, shred them at 100 yards, killing dozens per Gibson. Warriors snatch wounded mid-gallop, earning awe for their horsemanship. They shift, dismounting into a ravine 20 yards north. Sharpshooters with bows and muskets striking hard. Jennis, 24, takes a headshot, dead instantly. Doyle falls to a forehead wound. Haggerty, shot in the shoulder, fires on until a second bullet kills him. Gun smoke and burning manure from Lakota fire arrows choke the corral. Noise war cries, rifle cracks deafens. Canteen's empty. 2 men, under Smith's cover, grab water kettles 10 yards out. Lakota, close to 5 feet. Faces painted. But Springfield volleys hold. After 4 hours, ammo low, how do they survive? Down to their last rounds, Powell's men hear a cannon boom at 1 p.m. rescue. Pilot Hill Lookout spotted Pinery smoke, and Colonel John E. Smith sent Major Benjamin F. Smith with 100 soldiers, a 12-pound howitzer, and 10 wagons by 10 a.m. The howitzer's canister shot scatters Lakota. 30 survivors, 26 soldiers, 4 civilians are exhausted, rifles hot, some with 10 rounds left, per Gibson. Privates Horton and Smith, wounded, limp in pain. Dr. Samuel M. Horton bandages wounds, passing whiskey for cheers. Major Smith notes bullet-scarred boxes, calling it a stubborn fight. That night, Colonel Smith promises medals. 7 Gibson, Smith, Littman, McQuarrie, Grady, Hoover, Condonjet Medals of Honor in 1868. What's the cost, and how does it shift Red Cloud's war? The Wagon Box Fight leaves blood and questions. 3 corral dead, Jennis, Doyle, Haggerty. 2 wounded, Horton, arm, Smith, leg. 3 side camp soldiers die, names lost. Total, 6 killed, 2 hurt per Dr. Horton's log. Lakota losses? Powell's the 3rd of August report says 60 dead, 120 wounded from blood trails. Lakota oral accounts, per George E. Hyde, claim 6 to 12 dead, warriors hiding losses. U.S. boasts of 1,137 dead are propaganda, Hyde says, to boost budgets. A U.S. tactical win, but Red Cloud's war rolls on. July 1867's Peace Commission, spooked by $20 million costs and 200 deaths, pushes talks. The 6th of November, 1868, Fort Laramie Treaty, abandons the fort's Red Cloud's victory. August 1868, Fort Phil Kearny burns, possibly by Cheyenne. The May 10, 1869 railroad ends the Bozeman Trail's need. What scars remain for Powell's men? The corral survivors carry the 2nd of August's weight forever. Max Littman, German sergeant, leaves the Army in 1869, his Medal of Honor for saving Gibson's team. He's a Cincinnati carpenter, dying in 1890 at 45 per census records. Sam Gibson, 18, serves 30 years, from Apache to Blackfeet fights, retiring as sergeant in 1897. He dies in Nebraska, 1,920 at 71, his medal cherished per pension files. Jenness, killed at 24, lies in Fort Phil Kearny's cemetery, reinterred in 1888 at Custer National Cemetery's Officer Row. James W. Powell retires February 1868. His Civil War wounds 2 chest bullets, forcing him out at 37, per Special Order Number 6. Leaving the fort in October 1867, he farms in Missouri, then settles in Peoria, Illinois, with wife Mary in 1870. Neighbors note his withdrawn nature, likely PTSD, spending 15 years housebound. He dies the 18th of April, 1903, at 72, a hero history forgot, per Peoria Star. What does this fight teach us about war's toll? The Wagon Box Fight echoes beyond its corral, a clash of tech, bravery, and blunders. Springfield Model 1866 rifles, hitting 18 targets a minute at 100 yards, outgunned Lakota bows and slow muskets, flipping the odds like Gatling guns at Rosebud in 1876. Lakota warriors, charging within 5 feet, saved wounded mid-gallop, living a Plains honor code loyalty over life, per Hyde's oral histories. Soldiers learned from Fetterman's 81 deaths. Face the enemy, never run, Gibson wrote in 1890, saving them through discipline. Red Cloud's $20 million war, killing 200 by 1868, forced the 1868 Treaty, a rare native victory, per Utley. The Crow-Lakota feud, rooted in 1851 treaty claims versus Lakota hunting rights, made the Powder River a tinderbox. Army failures, 91 scurvy cases, stalled 236-mile supply lines showed poor planning. Powell's resolve, marred by PTSD, held the corral, yet he's overlooked. This fight reveals expansion's price. Lives lost, cultures clashed. How can we honor both sides' sacrifices while learning from history's mistakes?